Time for a grand experiment once again. Bread will be cheaper. Eggs will be cheaper. Grocery shopping will no longer be an unsolvable equation.
They cannot seem to figure out that the government makes absolutely nothing cheaper. They can't figure this out. This is just like when you subsidize anything for a group of people. Now, what people are going to be going to a free grocery store? Well, the people that get up really early and raid the place in the morning will get all the goodies, right? By noon, it'll be completely hollowed out. It'll be a dump. And the cost of all of those goods he's talking about for the rest of the city will rise because he's going to be closing down so many bodegas and grocery stores in the areas where these things exist. You're going to create food deserts and you're going to create higher prices for everybody else. It's just like with rent. You subsidize the rent for some amount of people. For the poor people, the rent for everyone else goes up. And these communists just can't seem to figure that out, and they'll never admit to it.
I would say the two of us are in touch. We've had a number of meetings now in the Oval Office, and we are honest, direct about the fact that we have many disagreements. There is one place of agreement that we have, which is that we both love New York City. And that's, I think, something that is at the heart of every conversation we have. It's how can we make this city better? Because both of us have said publicly that the better the city does, the better we feel.
Well, on that topic, let me read a social media post from the president seconds ago. Sadly, Mayor Mamdani is destroying, that's all caps, New York. It has no chance, exclamation mark. The United States of America should not contribute to its failure. Will only get worse. That's also in caps. The tax policies are so wrong. I stopped talking about all the all caps. People are fleeing. They must change their ways and fast. On and on. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay, Harrison Fields is with me, and Democratic strategist and political contributor for CBS News, Chuck Rocha. Great to have you both here. Harrison, pick up on Trump and Mamdani and what we just heard.
Well, the mayor was being a little too cute by half with his videos about tax day, and it just reminded the president that while he's a smiling man, that he may be a cordial person to talk to in the Oval Office. He's destroying the greatest city known to man, New York City, where my family spent years, decades serving in the NYPD. And it's sad to see. But the good news for my home state of Florida is they're all coming to us. Look at the taxes. Look at safety.
But Governor Hochul said she's not going to allow him to raise taxes.
But look at the taxes over 20 years in New York.
Yeah, but he hasn't raised many new ones.
Democratic policies within the city.
Right.
His proposals, free childcare, free grocery stores, free buses. Where is this money going to come from?
Grocery stores.
Fair. And it's going to take till 2030 for this thing to even open up. His policies are an empty bag. That he's over-promising. He is certainly under-delivering in the first 100 days. He can't even shovel snow in the city. You talk to New Yorkers there. And it's unfortunate. But it's unfortunate for the New Yorkers that cannot leave. For the rich New Yorkers that are leaving to my home state of Florida, it's fine. $20+ billion of capital is already flooding into Miami because New Yorkers are done with New York City. But for the people that cannot leave, it's a sad story.
Chuck?
You know, Mamdani kind of swept into the office running against a flawed Democrat named Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo, right. And he's made the most of it. And the one thing that I look at, you know, a lot of folks like to pontificate on TV about all the tea leaves and stuff, but he had a lot of folks rallying around him. Democrats were looking for fresh energy, and I think they found him. Does everybody agree with all the Mamdani stuff that he's talking about with public policy? No, we're a big tent. There's a right and the left and the middle of the Democratic Party, but he's brought something that we've been looking for, and that's energy, especially after old Joe Biden.
I wanted to showcase this real quick. Mamdani said it's $30 million for the first city-owned grocery store. Aldi jumped out there and basically said, hey, the cost of an Aldi is $1.5 to $3 million to open a new store. 5 New York City-run grocery stores are budgeted at $60 million. I believe that number is at 70 now. And the first order is saying that the budget is going to be at $30 million just to get open. This is outrageous, man. $30 million to open a store, and Aldi can do it for a fraction of that. At the $30 million, they can open up 10 grocery stores.
Another week, and we still don't have any more hope for New York than we had last week. Nope. we keep trying and to get New York into the position where we could have some hope, and then Mamdani speaks, and it's like, oh, you know,
back to the drawing board.
We're not yet there then, which means, thank God, the barrels of oil have gone down, because I am going to have to gas up and probably go ahead and go get Minister Danzel. So each week I'm more and more convinced I'm going to have to take that trip. I think we have to realize that although the Democrats want fresh energy, they are repackaging old ideology in fresh energy. This is no different than what Stalin promised. It's no different than what Mao promised. It's just human nature is to try and find something to alleviate suffering. And socialism seems to be historically something that is very attractive to people who are looking to have their suffering alleviated. And so they're constantly, when the world and people are faced with challenges, which will always happen, that's never not going to happen. The Bible says the poor will always be with you. You are never getting out of this.
Yeah.
We are never going to get to this utopia. We are never going to get to the place where there's a chicken in every pot and a Ford in every driveway. That is
40
never
acres and a mule.
right. That's never going to happen. We are encouraging people and thinking like that, and promises like that only divorce people from the reality. The more pragmatic and something we possibly can have is to go to the people and say, let's determine what's the best we can get for the most amount of people, knowing we will not be able to get that for everyone. That's just a fact. We cannot offer perfection. And so since we can't offer the perfection, what is the best we can possibly have? And go from there. They are going to actually, in the process of building these overpriced grocery stores, what they are going to do is they're going to create a monopoly on food, and they're going to run the private grocery stores out of the market. So gone will be your Whole Foods, gone will be your Fresh Markets, gone will be your Aldi's, because those people only make a 3% markup rate. Once the food becomes subsidized in the government-sponsored grocery markets, they will no longer be able to compete. They're no longer going to be able to compete. And the grocery markets, after they run, and believe me, it will not be before, they will subsidize those grocery markets just long enough to kill the private market, which is what they want. And once the private market is gone, they're going to find out that there's not enough money to continue subsidizing the grocery market. I said we have to stop. We have to lose our innocence. We are in a time where we cannot afford innocence. The purpose of these markets is not to provide food to the food desert and to the poor. The purpose of this market is to make sure there is no food. And the way they make sure there is no food is by driving out competition. And the way you drive out competition is by having the government subsidize the food.
I don't think that they will get to 5. They're going to get this one put up. They're saying it's 30 million. I would assume that it's probably going to cost them more than 30 million. And I don't see the other 4 even being built. I don't see it. We saw this in Kansas City. If you guys recall, about almost a year ago at this point, maybe about 7-8 months ago, we talked about the city-owned grocery store in Kansas City that didn't make it, 2 years? And when people went inside of the store, the shelves were empty. There was no produce. There was nothing. And a lot of it had to do with the people in there stealing, so forth and so on. You know, there's a lot of that going on. And then there's crime and things of that nature that was happening in the parking lots and happening inside the store as well. These policies, they've been tried. They've been tried for over 100 years all around the globe. And you can't find a place. You can't find a place where this type of ideology has been a success. You can't find a place nowhere in the world. The reason why it's not a success and reason why it will never be successful is because it's unbiblical.
That's right.
To take from other folks to give to others, that is not the word. That is anti the word of God.
That's
so
right.
it's doomed from the start.
First of all, it hit me. I'm happy the guy talked about it. We got to stop talking about the final grocery items and saying, oh, the mayor is responsible for this. Again, it's a lot deeper than that. But honestly, my takeaway is New York City is not going to be New York City anymore. It really isn't. You talking about getting rid of the bodegas now? What's going on? Right? What happened to the city over here? And really, New Yorkers, this is for all of you. what is it going to actually take for you to put aside whatever ideology you've been told to have your entire life, however you were raised, whatever the news tells you, and just look at the reality? New York City is going to be dead for the individual small business owner. Already in the, I mean, I haven't been there in about a year or so, but already just to open up a shop in New York City, wild amount of money. And it's not just opening up that shop. A lot of people forget that part. Like, oh yeah, I opened my store. You got to make a profit in New York. You go 1 month without making a profit in New York City, you're done. That's it. You're not gonna be able to pay anything. You're on your way out the door. And when you restrict the amount it costs just to get in the door, you're basically saying only major companies are going to be able to come to New York City and operate because they have the capital to do so. But see, that's a problem too, because Pershing Square Capital, right, major hedge fund organization, they've already said this ain't really working out. It's not good for taxes. DoorDash said, nope, we're not dealing with this. Airbnb said, nope, we're not dealing with this. Aldi, thank you very much, Wise, right? They came out and said, yo, this is going to be a really wild business venture. If that's not enough for you, I know New Yorkers like money. Jamie Dimon, you know, I know him, JP Morgan CEO, he's come out and said that this is an issue. We're looking elsewhere. And I never thought I would see the day. I had to look this up while y'all were showing the video. Larry Fink of BlackRock has come out and said, no, New York City is not going to really be New York City anymore because of this. So honestly, what is it going to take? Do you have to be in such a horrible situation you can't get out of? Don't worry, Minister Danzel, we're getting him a long time before this happens. Do you have to be in such a bad situation that now you don't even know who to be mad at? Because you're stuck in a city, you're paying a wild amount of taxes, by the way. Jersey's still more, but it's still a wild amount of taxes. And you can't really do anything besides rely on the government. So when the government says, nah, we're going to charge you a little bit more for this subway ticket, and don't worry, we're still going to have them running, you have to pay more or else you can't get to your job. And I know that Mamdani promised a lot of stuff, charismatic guy, talks pretty decently, right? Handsome young man. We got to stop voting off of that. Mamdani got voted in because he said just the right stuff to hit people's emotionality in that moment to get him into office. Let's give him the same treatment that they gave Trump. Why not? He said eggs will be cheaper. Day one, if they're not cheaper, let's hold them to the exact same standard so we can realize how unbelievably ridiculous it is. I just want CNN to come out and say, all these horrible Republicans holding him to a standard because he said this one thing. That's not realistic. So we can see history repeat itself on the other side. I feel bad for New York City. I truthfully do. I feel bad for anybody who lives in these major cities being destroyed by liberalism, who while it's being destroyed are still going to scream, I hate Donald Trump. I hate Christians. This is all your fault. Hopefully that keeps you warm at night when the power goes out.
The rich that are still here in New York and the middle class had better recognize that they are on a time clock. And they only have a certain amount of time to counter what's happening before we reach the point of no return. I'm believing God that that point will not come. I think that they need to get together and start becoming aggressive in their open campaigning, their public commenting. They're just too quiet as far as I'm concerned. And I think that's a big mistake. We need to fight back. We need to fight back hard and loud. And we need to organize hard. We talked about this a while ago on our show, that the responsibility of individuals to get together, strategize, figure out what the problem is, and provide efficient solutions as soon as possible. And I think that the most important thing is that we need to make this public, that we ain't going down like that. We're not going out like that. We need to say that it has to be open. You're not hearing anything. And that's a quick way to allow a city to die, when the people who are righteous will not stand up and take action and let people know they're taking action. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm praying for that. And I'm just believing God that the New York is not hopeless yet. We've been a great city for too long, and we're too popular and too famous as a city to just go out like that. I just don't think it's going to happen. I'm hoping that the right people wake up, rich and middle class, and take back our city.
Celeste said the poor will always be amongst us, because that is what the word says. And the reason why the word says that is because this is a sinful world. And so the Satan will always do what he does, which is to whisper in the ears of people. He whispered in the ear of Eve, and that is why what happened. So now use Mamdani to whisper in the ears of the New Yorkers who are strapped for money, maybe because they're being lazy, maybe because they're not doing what they're supposed to do, or maybe because life is just hard all the way around. But again, when we look to the government as our source, this is always going to be a problem for us, instead of looking to God as God is our source. And that is what a lot of New Yorkers fail to do. That is why the appeal of Mamdani saying free, free, free made everybody want to run and support him. But you know what they said in that that trailer that you shared, Mamdani doesn't love New York. Trump loves New York. Mamdani doesn't love New York.
No, he does
Mamdani
not.
has no love for New York. So, you know, it's easy to say that he loves it because he speaks that type of. That man doesn't love New York. He hates New
Con
York, and
artist.
he wants New York to be destroyed. That is why you're seeing the things that's happening. That's why you see police officers are losing jobs, but police officers' overtime is being taken away. He's trying to take away, as they said. Listen, I grew up on bodegas. I grew up on the bodegas, the corner store. I lived for a good corner store. But what they're trying to do is destroy. Y'all think that you have food issues now? You will have more than food issues with Mamdani's plan. And I don't understand why people don't understand by this point in life, in all of our big ages, nothing in life is free. At this point, you should understand nothing in life is free. So when someone with their snake oil and their greasy car, used car salesman, con artist behavior come and tell you they're going to give you something free, you
Watch
should
out.
by now know to say you're lying. And the one thing that irritates me is the one thing I grew up and I gained in New York is that skepticism. That skepticism that comes from New Yorkers when you miss and say, "Oh, I got this. I'm gonna give you this for free." Nah, what you got up your sleeve? That's what I grew up knowing as a New Yorker. But I have to remember that even in that, regardless of the skepticism, people will still fall for foolishness. As I said yesterday, and I'll remind y'all again, the Lord is showing y'all mercy. You better make the right choice in midterms when it comes to your governor. Because if you keep Kathy in office, I don't know, because Kathy is just holding back her reins. I'm telling y'all this.
Yeah.
Y'all don't have to believe me, but I'm telling you, just like we told you about Mamdani and you didn't believe us. I'm telling you, Kathy is holding back because she is in her campaigning season. The minute if you allow Kathy to be governor again,
Don't do it.
listen,
Don't do it.
the flood waters will come rushing in because at that point, she doesn't have to worry. She's in office. So now
Right.
whatever Mamdani and her want to do together, they will do, and New York will be destroyed. So
That's
God
right.
is giving y'all another
That's right.
chance. You better
That's
get
right.
up and go vote and
Pass.
get Kathy out of that office immediately.
I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. What are your thoughts? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family or buy your brother a coffee. Links in the description box below. As always, keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, He gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, fear can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. Then the Lord hit my chest, kicked death from my breath, put power in my step.